Hello, everyone. It's an amazing time again at the Winning Live broadcast. I'm so excited to have you, joining me this morning, the 13th day of August 2022. I am so delighted. Now, this is the Winning Live broadcast, and every Saturday morning I come to bring you, amazing content. I come to bring you amazing values, amazing principles, skills that will transform your life and make a tremendous change in your endeavors. And this show is all round. It's focused on human assistance, how to become successful in different aspects of life. So we're not just focused on one place. All right, just like this month and last month, July, we've been focused on leadership development, how to develop yourself effectively, how to become better leader and achieve greatness. And last week, Saturday, I am excited to announce to you, or to remind you, that we had the phenomenal founding president of Double Edge Impact Group, Mr. Ifegu Bono Victor. It was an amazing, powerful, power-packed, 1 hour, 5 minute section. And I would want to encourage you to go back, scroll back to this page or this YouTube channel. You're going to see it just within a space of 1 week. You will see. All right. So it is evident that what we thought or what we learned last week has also made a room or created, a kickoff point for what I'm going to be teaching today. All right. But before then, I want to, just do a little recap of last weekend's event or session on the Winning Live broadcast. We talked about the leader and his brand. We talked about what the leader and his brand. Sorry, what's happening? We talked about the leader and his brand, and we said that the people follow you first before they follow whatever you are doing. They follow you first before they follow whatever you are doing. So your brand is you first, before it is whatever you portray, before it is whatever you show other people, before it is whatever you tell other people to become that you are. So we also talked about branding being your ability to influence people's decision and people's perception of you, even when you're not in the room, even when you're not obvious of it. I mean, even when you're not obvious of what that they are talking about you, but you, because of the actions you put, because of the things that you've done and the things that you've said, the things that you've created consciously to appeal to the people who your brand is supposed to appeal to, they are able to, have that view of you, have that perception of you, and they can even recommend you, they can talk to you, they can work with you, they can do a lot of things with you because of the way you've created the brand, because of the way you've the perception you've given to them about you and the things that you do. All right, so it is very critical. There were a lot of things that were said, and we talked about the brand distortion. When you're doing this, you're doing that, you want to do everything at a time, even when you're starting out. It's going to make your brand to have no meaning. No, people don't even understand where you're standing. Nobody knows what exactly you are doing. So when they want a public speaker who's going to be speaking on leadership, who's going to be motivating people, they want to talk about you. They said no, he does that. He speaks about relationship. He motivates, but he also does that. So nobody knows exactly what to call you for. It is called brand distortion. So it is very critical that if you're building your brand as a leader, visibility is key. But while you're building visibility, you should endeavor not to distract people with a lot of things. You can start with one, or start with two, or start with three things that are interconnected. For example, you're an author. Yes, you can also do ghostwriting. All of them are connected to writing. Thank you so much for being on the show, David Adedoton. All of them are connected to writing. You can start doing trainings for authors, for upcoming authors. It's still connected to writing. You can do a lot. You can start doing editing if you're good at that. Offering editing services is still connected to writing. Before you know it, you're building an empire of your brand already. Then when you get into that point where you can now diversify, people can know you for more than one thing, but not when you're starting out. All right. So you have to take care and ensure that you don't distort your brand when getting it done. All right. When making your brand visible, even as a leader. We talked about character last week. We talked about you ensuring that your character is something that can be, emulated, something that people want to look at and they love you, because people want to, see you, they want to, love you, they want to trust you before they deal with you. Yeah, especially on the online space where everybody's doing anything, people are doing it. They are trying to scam people. People want to see you. That's visibility consistently, posting and putting up content that will benefit people. Now, you wouldn't say, I am going to sell every time. Let me sell it. I want to sell it. No. Listen. People want to see you first. That you are here. You are in their front. You are always there. You're showing up. They want to, they want to see you, they want to love you, they want to trust you before they deal with you. Pay attention to that. So this morning, I'll be going into what we have immediately, so we don't waste a lot of time. Courage as an arsenal for leadership. Courage as an arsenal for leadership. When one of my friends saw the arsenal, he said, I hope it's not Arsenal Football Club. I laughed. I said, okay. All right. So that means we have to start by defining what an arsenal is. And I had to check the dictionary, and it says that an arsenal is an array of resources available for a certain purpose. An array of resources. That's maybe a convergence, a merging of resources that are available for a certain purpose. So courage becomes a very critical thing, very important resources, very important, thing that you need if you want to succeed as a leader. People don't really care how much you know. Some persons have said they really care about how much you care. That's critical. But they also care about how courageous you are to push out what you know. A lot of people know things, a lot of people know a lot of things, but they cannot push it out. They cannot, that thing that they have. They're so afraid, so afraid. You are a leader, people, you have something within you that people want to, people are eager to learn from, but you're so afraid to push it out. You are so afraid to push it out. I can see you, Mr. Collins or Google. Thank you so much. You are so afraid to push out what you have as a leader. You have that capacity to influence one person, 10 people, 100 people. You have that capacity to even use the social media to influence 1,000 people. And you are afraid because you think you cannot. Because you think there are people who are better than you, because you think there are people whose background, whose finances are better than you. Hey, let me tell you, people follow courageous people even when they are going the wrong way. It's part of the point I wanted to list subsequently, but let me say it here. People follow courageous people even when they are going the wrong way. So you see that person who knows the right thing to do. You see that leader who knows the right thing, who has gotten the right values and principles. He knows the right thing to do, but he's not courageous enough, to go that way, to show people that way, to come physically to boldly say, this is what I know, this is how it should be done. And he's keeping quiet. So timid about what he knows, but he knows it. Everybody knows that he knows it. But because he's not able to express himself, because he's not able to bring out that thing that is within him, burning right within him, people will say, or they'll just keep you one side. And then they follow that politician. I've said about a leader who is courageous, who knows what he's doing. And then they now follow that politician who is going to deceive them. But because he's able to present himself as their Messiah, because he's able to present himself as their Messiah, as someone who has the solution to their problem, people will follow him. Some people will know that he's not the right person to follow, but because let's just be following him. So, courage is the ability to do something that frightens one. You're so afraid, but you have to do it. One of the synonyms of courage is bravery. You have to be brave as a leader. When the people who are looking up to you as a leader, they are crying. Or maybe when your team, you get into a problem. Of course, you will always get into a problem. If you are alive, you will always get into a problem. I got into one 2 days ago. If you're a leader, you will always get into a problem. Your team will always have difficulties. They will always have challenges. But the question is, as a leader, what are your response to those challenges? If you're a leader and then you start crying, what would the people who you are leading do? They'll start groaning, they'll start wailing and shouting, falling up and down. But if you're a leader and then it's not that challenges will not come. You need to get that right. You need to get that right. Challenges will come, and they will come every day. In your leadership, in your own personal life, challenges will, every day. Sometimes morning, noon, and night, you will see issues. You will see problems. You will see them. You will see problems. And I'm not missing words. I mean it. You will see problems as a leader. All right? But your ability to stand, your ability to do that thing that frightens you, that thing that frightens you, that makes you so afraid, you say, I am gonna do it. All right? Another definition says that courage is the strength in the face of pain and grief. Dear leader, you will always have pain. It was Archbishop Benson, that was of the blessed memory, that said, if you don't want problems in life, go and die. It is only dead people that don't have problems. But some of them have problems when they die too, because when someone is thrown into hellfire, that one is we get big. But as far as the face of the earth is concerned, you will have problems. You will have pains. Pain, and grief. They characterize human beings, human existence. We are human. We live as humans. This is it, and that is it. I hope I'm communicating. I hope I am communicating. It is very important that you take note of that. So when we're going to take a look at points that we should be able to look at when we're talking about courage as an arsenal for leadership, first of all is that every leader is a human being. Yeah. So if you're a leader, don't start treating yourself as a superhuman being. Or a super being, one supernatural. There are some leaders that do things, and then I get some of the times I said to myself, what are these people doing? Some leaders portray themselves and their abilities as though they are infallible. Leaders, you are fallible. If you do, you start presenting yourself like El Shaddai, one day you shall soon die, because ours as human beings is that we shall die. But when we will die is in God's hands, and we will always believe Him that we will live long and die. Yeah, one day you will, even if you live 120, or even if you live 150, one day you will still die. It is God that is not dieable. Is there an English word like that? It is God that is El Shaddai. So stop, portraying yourself. You're a leader. You are not trying to say, I am infallible. I cannot make mistakes. Shut up. You can make mistakes because you're a human being. You can make mistakes because you're a human being. And if you make those mistakes, just own up to them. All right? You can have issues. There are lots of things that can happen. So the first point I wanted to take note of is that every leader is first a human being, before a leader. Before you started learning leadership principles and values and skills and started practicing them and started becoming, better and better at leading yourself and leading others, you were born as a human being. And most of the times, in fact, when you were born, it was called what we call clean slate, tabula rasa. You were born nothing, empty slate. All right. So you are a human being, and fear is an emotion of is a human emotion. And if you are a human being, you cannot erase fear from your gene, from your DNA, from your composition as a person or as a human being. You cannot erase it. It's there. If you're not afraid of this today because maybe you've passed that level, you will get to a level where you've never passed before. You will get to a road where you've never crossed before. You will become afraid. So it is natural to be afraid. And number 2 point that I want to mention is that leadership does not negate the fact that leaders also have their up and down. I think I have emphasized on this too. Leaders have their up and down. None of the leaders you're following, even if you're a leader and you're watching this now, you do not have the capacity to erase the downs. You can only manage the ups and manage the downs with wisdom and knowledge, and then effective action. But you cannot say, I have only, if anybody has told you that they have only ups and they don't have downs, they are lying. They lied to you. They lied to you. It is never done. Nobody can say, I have ups and then I don't. You go up and you go down. But when you go down, do you stay on the down? Or maybe you've gone up, came down, and gone up again, and maybe trying to go up again, you are looking back to the down that you were coming from. So yesterday or last year, this one happened to me, and because of it, I'm so afraid to move on. Hey, don't be afraid to move on, guys. Don't be afraid to move on, leaders. You have what it takes. You have what it takes to go up from the down, from the valley. A song says, the God of the mountain is still the God in the valley. The God of the good times is still the God in the bad times. When things go wrong, he makes them right. It is not a bad thing to have your down period. So don't allow your down period to, now have a dealing, to tent or to stop you from going up. Don't allow your down period to be a point of fear that will extinguish your courage as a leader. Don't allow that. All right? Number 3 point is that courage is not the absence of fear, but is the ability to do it instead, even with the fear. Lisa Nichols will always say, you hold fear in one hand and you hold courage in the other hand, and you say, even though I am afraid, I am still going to do it. Even though I am afraid, I am still going to do it. Even fear and courage they work almost hand in hand. They almost work simultaneously, because you have to infuse courage where there is fear for you to be able to move forward. Fear will always come first, but you infuse courage and infuse more of courage, and then you move forward. So hold courage in one hand, hold fear in the other hand, because you cannot throw it away entirely as a human being. You cannot throw fear away entirely as a human being. Keep that to mind. All right. So you hold this. I am going to do it anyway. Even though I am afraid, I will do it anyway. I am afraid, I will do it anyway. Even though I am afraid, I will do it anywhere. All right. Anyways, I'll do it. So it's critical. Number 4 is something I've already shared with you. I said that people follow people who are courageous, even if they don't know what they are doing. You see someone who knows everything. He has a lot of knowledge. He has achieved. He has done so many things, but he doesn't have the courage to say, "I have done this." He doesn't have the courage to say, "This is how it will be." And then you see someone who is deceiving people, and he will come and say, "Yeah, we can do it. I have done it. Yeah, come on, follow me." People will keep following. I'm so glad to see you, my brother Ebenezer. Wow, it's an honor to have you here, and we're also expecting to have you, come live with me on Saturday. Thank you so much. So yeah, people will follow that person because of the level of courage that he's showing. But people will not follow you, even though you know what is right and how to do it, because you're not showing. You're being timid about it. You know it, but you don't know how to express yourself. You're so afraid. What if it fails? The other person is not even counting. The other may even know that it will fail. That's why people go into Ponzi scheme. That's why people, they're able to dupe people, because they know this thing will fail. But because of the level of courage that they have, and they've infused packaging into it, it looks so authentic, and people say, "Wow, this is real," because someone has courage. Well, you have something that will make someone wealthy. You have something that will make someone, to increase his value. And then you're not bringing it out because you feel they will say, what is this result? Listen, your result will always come from your actions. Your result will always come from the things that you're already doing, and you keep building on it. That's what results are histories. They are a combination of track records and history. So when people say, "What is your result?" you already have results. Show them your result. Yes, there is a result you have. It's just that some of us are so blinded that we're not seeing the results. Some of us, which results? So number 5 thing I want you to note is that anybody can be courageous. Anybody, irrespective of the background where you're coming from, irrespective of the family, the social status, irrespective of the financial status, irrespective of anything, anybody can be courageous. If you have fear in your life, you won't go further. You will not go further. So even for you to get off from that state of poverty, you need courage. Even for you to rise up from that place, of mediocrity, you need courage. So you need it. Anybody can be courageous. Now, taking from the Bible stance, I belong to a global Bible study platform where we read one chapter every day and we summarize it. Last month, we finished Joshua. And when we entered Joshua, chapter 1, God said to Joshua, "My son Moses is dead now. You're going to be taking the lead now." And you read chapter 1, you will see that God said to him, "Be courageous. Be courageous." Read it. Chapter 1 of Joshua, you see God said it 3 times. And he will say, "Be courageous and of good cheer." He will now come back and say, "Be courageous and this." Because God was seeing that this man may be courageous in the morning. And when he gets to the afternoon, fear will creep in. He will now come and say it again, "Be courageous." After that afternoon dose, it gets into the evening. There is another fear. Something has happened and the man is shaking, and the Lord says, "Be courageous." So every day, morning, afternoon, and night, God is saying to you, dearly, that be courageous. Be courageous. You have the capacity. You have the capacity, to do what God has said you should do. The work was cumbersome. Joshua didn't know where to start from. It was like, carrying you and putting you in such an elevated position. And you didn't know, you're just looking, how am I going to do it? What will happen? And God said to Joshua, "Be courageous." For you to move forward in life, for you to get the best out of that assignment and achieve greatness and bring out beautiful results, you have to be courageous. And not just being courageous as a one-off thing. It's supposed to be something you have to live. It's a life that you should live. Courage is what? A life that you should live. All right? It is very important. All right, let me share with you 5 characteristics of a courageous leader that I saw when I was preparing for this session. I saw it on the Harvard Business School page. Number 1, they said, courageous leaders are authentic. Courageous leaders are what? Authentic. There is this authenticity. You're not trying to copy anybody, because you're not trying to copy anybody. You're not trying to look like anybody. You're not trying to, make it look like, Courageous leaders are authentic people. They don't go about, trying to copy and become a photocopy. Authentic people who keep on developing themselves. Now, when I talk about authenticity, I'm not saying you should keep being that person you are. Some people say, it is me, that is how I am. That is not how you should be. If people are complaining about you, you need to improve. I'm not saying copy people, I say improve the you that you have. Improve it. Number 2, they said courageous people, leaders are resilient. Resilient people. They don't throw in the towel. They keep pushing until they get it. Very important. Number 3, they said courageous leaders are emotionally intelligent. Courageous leaders are emotionally they know how to relate with people. They know how to, manage their anger level. Everyone has anger level. Everyone will always be angered. And I tell you the truth, you will always be angered. As a leader, the people who are following you will anger you. The people who you are following will make you angry. Don't let anybody deceive you that you cannot get angry for your leader. You cannot get angry for the people who are your fathers. Even in your family, you get angry sometimes for your daddy. But do you go and beat him? Do you go and start abusing him? That's how you should. Leaders who are courageous, that's how they do. Because when you lose your temper, when you lose that emotional intelligence, there is always this disconnect. There's always this you lose your anger, you lose your emotional intelligence. People now look at you as a coward. Yeah, because if you cannot control yourself, you're a coward. Number 4 is that, according to the Harvard Business School, courageous leaders, their characterizes. Number 4 is that they are self-disciplined. Courage and self-discipline, they work together. You have to pay attention to that. To me, self-discipline is the ability not to do. The ability to do what you're supposed to do even when you don't feel like doing it. My own definition of self-discipline is different from the definition of self-control. Self-control is you not doing what you're not supposed to do even when you feel like doing it. While discipline is the other side of the coin, doing what you ought to do even when you don't feel like doing so. So number 5 thing that they shared is that courageous leaders are committed to purpose. Like, I am sealed up for this, and this is me. This is where I'm headed. I hope you're getting the point. So let me quickly share a few other things. To be courageous, you need to go for knowledge. Your level of knowledge determines how courageous you're going to be. When you know what you're talking about, you will know how to respond. When you know what you are talking about, people will not treat you anyhow. I hope you're getting the gist now. People will not handle you. They will not. They'll say, this one, he knows himself. He knows who he is. So you have to go for knowledge. Very critical. Then think and rethink. Think and rethink. As a courageous leader, you don't just do things. You think through it before you do them. Even if it's just 2 seconds, even if it's 1 minute thinking, think. Don't say things before you think them. Think through. And then you say it. And once you say it, because you've thought through it, the lines will keep falling into places. All right? And then finally, you have to take action. Nothing moves, I will always say, till you move it. Nothing moves until you move it. And I will always also emphasize that you just don't take notes. What I've just said in a couple of 29, almost 30 minutes, can fill your notes. Me personally, I have almost 4 pages of my notes filled when I was preparing for this session. You can even get 5 pages, 10 pages from what I've just said in 30 minutes. But not just taking action. You have to do what? So not just taking notes, you have to also take what? Action. Very important. Thank you so much for joining me on the show this morning. I can see a lot of people. I can see a lot of comments. I honor you and I celebrate you. Next week, Saturday, I'm going to be having Mr. Ebenezer Akachukwu, and we are going to be treating on the unusual leader. If you want to lead effectively, just don't follow the norms. You need to, find your niche, carve your niche. It may not be popular, it may not be usual, but you can achieve greatness being an unusual leader. I will be so glad to have you on board, as I will be welcoming and having my brother Ebenezer Akachukwu in the studio on Saturday next week. Yeah, Saturday next week. Thank you so much, and please do comment, share this post, do comment your learning points, where you got that revival, that awakening, Put it here. All right, share to your friends, and this will be a blessing to them. Thank you so much, and see you on Saturday. I am Solomon Chimaechi Okeke.